Hello, I'm Olivia and this is Ritual Kitchen, where I talk about various things along the lines of symbolism and spirituality, myths and imagery, and I like to combine it with some food, or in today's case, some tea and salt. It is now September in Berlin, and every morning, or most mornings, I go on my daily walk along the canal with my coffee, and one of the nice things about doing that every day is I get to actually see what plants are growing and how the seasons are changing. That's been probably the number one nice thing about living in Neukölln and being close to the canal. Besides the nice roommate and also very nice neighbors. So the other day I picked elderberries and I also picked some hops. Okay, so it's my strange little morning of foraging, and this is the hops tree there, or bush, that I discovered yesterday when I went on my walk, and then I was like, okay, what else can you do with hops? I was reading about it, so I'm gonna pick some today and try some projects out. Like the most added herb to beer in the beer brewing process, yeah, that there is. I can't remember, I think maybe I had a friend who like pickled the little flowers once or was doing something cool with them. I can't remember. But anyways, I was like, what else can you do? So I did a bit of searching, and I'm gonna try making a tea and also flavoring some salt with the hops flowers. But before that, for this video, I will be donating some money to Herbalists Without Borders. They're a worldwide organization that is based in Wisconsin, USA, but they have chapters in many different locations and cities. They provide holistic care and medicine, trauma trainings to communities, as well as promote like community gardens, seed saving, seed banks, and then general like herbal education and access to different communities. So I will link them below if you also want to donate. I think it's a really cool idea and cause, and it links into this video, which you will see soon-ish. So hops actually belongs to the same plant family as cannabis. Yeah, obviously the flowers are used for flavoring beer, but also for medicinal uses and for tea. And it's a very relaxing herb. It can be used as a sleep aid, so we'll see if I fall asleep after this tea. It reduces stress and anxiety, and since it's a bitter or a tonic herb, it can also help your digestion. It's also good for your immune system because it's antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial, and it's also full of phytoestrogens, so it can help you if you have PMS. And because of those phytoestrogens, it's not recommended for pregnant women or young children. Yeah, so this morning I kind of tuned into in meditation, I tuned into the energy a little bit, and it's yeah, definitely a very like relaxing, soothing, sleepy vibe. Kind of like a more, definitely more feminine, kind of like, I don't know, tempting and grounding, and that also makes sense that it then works well in the whole beer context, because that kind of sleepy, relaxing energy helps you kind of ground, which is also a reason why it is good to drink, beer or wine if you've taken stimulants or hallucinogenics, because it can help you ground back down. Sometimes people don't realize that and end up taking the wrong substance and then just go for another ride. But if you take stimulants or hallucinogenics, then drink some beer and you will be calmed down a little bit. Yeah, so I was making this, so I was thinking about this video, and then I got out my fermentation book from The Art of Fermentation. I just wanted to check out on the beer brewing process, whether it's like complicated to explain or not. It's a little bit too much work for me today, but I did find some of the story of beer quite fascinating, which I didn't really think about before. But brewing beer, or brewing like fermented beverages in general, has historically been more the women's job. We kind of always think of like old men and nerdy young men being the beer brewers, but the original way was, of course, the women who were the plant gatherers would also take care of the brewing of various fermented beverages. And in some parts of the world that is still the case, that plant knowledge, plant combination knowledge is passed down from mother to daughter. So originally beer used to be brewed with many different herbs, not just hops, or not predominantly hops. Hops was mentioned in like the 1150s for the first time. And it's also kind of around that time, or according to Sandor Ellis Katz's research, that the Holy Roman Empire started putting kind of rules and regulations on beer and who could sell it, what had to be in it, etc. And so basically those like initial control systems and the ones that followed afterwards took that kind of power, or beer brewing power, away from the women and transferred it to bigger institutions, which seems to be kind of a common theme. When they started using hops a lot, they realized that it was a good preservative and it had kind of that sleepy, subduing effect, and they were able to scale beer brewing to an industry scale. And so that's kind of how hops took over as the #1 herb used in beer brewing. And so yeah, these like hopped beers and the whole industry led to the decline of beer brewing with lots of different herbs. But yeah, in any case, I found the whole thought around women being the original brewers exciting. I just hadn't thought about it before, It's still like that in many places around the world, that the women are in charge of the plants and thus the kitchen. And I mean, even today it is often the women who are drawn to plant knowledge. So yeah, there's something kind of exciting about that. It would be fun to bring that idea back into modern life. Yeah, so I brewed some hot water. I'm gonna pluck these flowers off of here and then give them a little rinse. And then I will proceed in making the salt and the tea. And give the flowers a bit of a rinse. Gonna put in for the tea. So here's our soaking flowers. So I guess I'll leave that for like five minutes or so, and then it smells kind of funky. And I'll leave these little flowers to dry a little bit before I put them in with the salt. Okay, it's time for the taste test. I wouldn't call it tasty. It's quite bitter. I think I read that it's good to add some flowers or some lavender. I guess I also made it quite strong. You only need like 5 to 10 flowers per cup. Whew. But yeah, it's really bitter. But it's probably good for me because I found that, if it's like period time, then it's my body usually craves bitter foods, so maybe there's something behind that. So I've let these little flowers dry a bit, so I'm gonna do the salt experiment. I think basically you can leave these then for a couple days, and then like add them to fried potatoes or something kind of simple just to give it a bit of a kick. Okay, so there's our salt with hops. So I'm gonna leave this for a week or so, and then maybe I'll do a little update on Instagram. The link is below if you want to follow me there for like little updates and in between photos. And yeah, thank you for watching. I think at some point I'll do a longer video about women and the history of brewing because I find that quite interesting. So like and subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again soon.